Welcome to Analysis. My name is Donné Petrushka, and Christie Desfontaine is joining me today, and we have a lot to talk about. Back in 2012, on two different dates, we're gonna run through those with you guys today, because my dad had an incredible experience and a series of visions that are very important today. And a lot of that is because of what he saw. And, we're seeing in the news stuff about Pakistan and India, and we're watching that very closely. But the reason that we're wanting to look at these visions is because of what he saw. And he saw in that region of the world a mustard-colored forest, the letters A and Q, nuclear war, nuclear power, and much more. So what we've decided to do today is go through some of the footage we have of my dad, not only when he had the visions, but a week later when he was explaining them. And so, welcome, Christie. Thank you for joining me. We've got a lot to cover today, don't we?
We do, and again, it's kind of constantly blowing my mind when we stumbled upon this prophecy, Donné, given everything that's going on with India and Pakistan. And look, the Kashmir area has been one that's been hotly contested since 1947, 1948, and it's been an area that's had there's been a lot of complexity surrounding it, a lot of trouble. But just what your dad saw with the way that it's aligning with what's going on in the news currently, it's just something that constantly, it genuinely blows my mind. And it gives us hope. That's the thing to hold on to always, is that in the midst of all of this, we are given hope through what Kim saw, because God was showing him the future back then. And even though he's not here right now, we are. And it was for a time such as this, a time that we are in right now. And I know we've got a news clip that we want to play, Donné, and then we're going to go into some of these crazy moments with your dad. But just given all the chaos and all the different events that have been going on in the last couple of weeks, I do think that this is incredibly powerful and relevant to see what it is that God showed him. But I know before we do that, we're going to jump straight into this news clip to give you the latest update of what's happening specifically regarding India and Pakistan. So let's go to that now.
Top military leaders from Pakistan and India will meet later today to discuss the next steps after reaching a ceasefire this weekend. The U.S. brokered ceasefire seems to be holding for now. Border strikes and shelling stopped, but India says they've only suspended military action and are ready to strike in case of another terror attack. Let's go now to CBS News correspondent Chanel Call, who is following the story for us from the newsroom. Chanel, can you break down this ceasefire agreement?
Right, so Mughal, let's start with what happened this weekend, because just hours after the two sides agreed to a ceasefire on Saturday, explosions reportedly rang out in some border cities and towns. Artillery fire and attack drones, they were seen in Jammu and Kashmir, the center of much of the fighting, and some of the cities were also under blackout. Now, India accuses Pakistan of violating that pact, while the Foreign Ministry of Pakistan said the country was committed to the ceasefire. Now, things did seem to calm down by Saturday afternoon, our time. For the last 36 hours or so, it's been quiet on both sides of the border. Now, this morning, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation, saying India has only, quote, paused its military action and will retaliate on its own terms if there are any future terror attacks on the country. He also says, Mugo, that India will not tolerate any nuclear blackmail, and this is key because both India and Pakistan are nuclear-armed nations. President Trump, who actually shared news of the India-Pakistan ceasefire deal before the leaders of those countries this weekend, today took credit for the breakthrough. Listen.
On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one, between India and Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. And they were going at it hot and heavy, and it was seemingly not going to stop. We stopped the nuclear conflict. I think it could have been a bad nuclear war. Millions of people could have been killed, so I'm very proud of that.
And Mugo, remember, these two countries have a long history of fighting, but this recent spate started on April 22nd when 26 people were killed in a terror attack on Hindu tourists in Kashmir.
Okay, so then now that we have a little bit of perspective about most recent events and things happening between Pakistan and India, we're going to go back now to June 13th of 2012. And we're going to have a look at what my dad was experiencing on that day. So let's have a look at that first and we'll come back.
Father, I pray that your presence of angels It's a conversation that is happening. I'm getting access. The hidden swords, the hidden spears, the hidden instruments to do damage, we will uncover. Angels sent. These are tongues of angels. But I'm hearing God has assigned a force to uncover weapons of destruction, mass, something new that shall be old soon, like the enemy has. Oh, Israel, Israel, shall I call upon you again? Shall I call upon you again using a prophet with an ancient gift to bring it forth? Yes! They look in the wrong country. They're looking to the place that is obvious. That's what they're saying. They found another place, another soil, another place. It's in a forest. It looks like a forest, and it's stenches of wickedness. Speak, Spirit of God. Do not hold your peace. Do not hold your voice. They speak of joyful things too. They speak of rejoicing amongst children, rejoicing amongst the aged. They speak, these angels of It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's no fear. But it's what year? What year are you speaking about?
Well, first of all, what we just watched, highly unusual for my dad for something like that to happen. I know privately things happened in his garden, but for something to happen live on the air that way. And I know some of you watching right now probably remember this, if you were watching back then. But you can see he's been given a window into not just the physical, but the spiritual realm. And he's trying to understand and gather what he's seeing. And so that's why, and we're going to play this for you in a little bit, he comes back a week later to sort of explain, once he'd had time to really pray about it and think about what he'd experienced there. But this was just the raw footage of him having the vision, and he's hearing the tongues of angels, and he's getting glimpses of things that really was concerning. But he does, ultimately, he's saying, it's okay, it's okay. And so, pretty intense. And we have a little bit more to play for you from the same date, which again was June 13th of 2012. It's not as long of a clip, but it's important that we watch this as well, and then we'll come back.
It's very difficult for me because I was caught up for, I don't know, you tell me how long, I don't even know. Father, we worship you now. We honor you, Jesus. Honor you, Jesus. Jesus. It's all I can hear them saying over and over. It's over and over. Jesus on the earth. Jesus in the children. Jesus, Jesus everywhere.
Yes.
Jesus everywhere.
Yes, yes.
Jesus in America. I cannot give words to what I've experienced. I wish I could. I don't actually know everything. All I know is I heard the conversation between two beings and was caught up to where I couldn't take anymore. There was too many words, too many pictures, too many surroundings. And I believe he's transferred to me what's supposed to be spoken in the summer, and transferred to me what is necessary to express in the next few months. All I know is he kept saying, do not fear, do not be afraid, do not fear. It's okay, it's okay. And I saw a year, which I can't talk about now. So it's really difficult for me to compose myself, right? I wish we had something we could play or do. Or somebody just do something, just...
Again, Donné.
Wow, he was so overwhelmed that
he wasn't like
so
that
overwhelmed.
Normally.
Somebody just do something. Yes. Yeah. No, that's very unusual for him.
It was unusual,
especially publicly. Again,
yes.
Things.
The garden was different,
absolutely.
But that was
so. Yeah, that was right, and that was just the raw. Vision as he was experiencing it. And as he said, there was just too many things. I find a lot of comfort in him seeing just Jesus everywhere, Jesus everywhere. That is very interesting to me. Also, he's seeing weapons of mass destruction, perhaps nuclear. We're going to look at those clips now. He said, I thought it was so interesting, he said, it's new, but it will be old soon. So that was also quite comforting. But he was seeing trouble. And, undeniably, and God gave him a unique glimpse into the situation. Also interesting, he wouldn't say the year.
Yeah.
That he was seeing, because I remember in the first clip you hear him ask, "What year is this?" He doesn't know when he is, and so that's also very interesting. But we have now a week later, so June 21st of 2012, he came back and explained a little bit about what he experienced, and so let's watch the first clip we have from June 21st of 2012.
I was caught up for, you saw it, how many minutes it was. And in those few minutes, it's like millions of things were being thrown at me. And so you and I have the right to request of God to take us to places, visions, to give us visions, so we can see beyond the now. And don't ever forget and consider this, that we as servants of Christ are stewards of the mystery of God. This is all scriptural. We are stewards of the mystery of God. There are mysteries that God has and ultimately reveals them at the right time. Everything in its time is beautiful. He reveals them at the right time. Therefore, judge nothing before the time. I'm encouraging each one of you, do not judge anything before the time until God appears to reveal the mystery. And He'll bring the light. He'll bring to light, I should say, the hidden things of darkness and reveal the dark counsels of the heart.
Donné, we obviously have a lot.
And I do believe we're in that moment right now, Christy.
Yeah, we have a lot more. I mean, again, I think the thing with your dad is just, there was a feeling that you would get that was unlike anything. It felt otherworldly. I remember the first time I played drums with him, and I remember, again, I grew up in church my whole life. I was always kind of the person who would sort of be, I think it's something your mom always used to find quite funny, about me, is that somebody would say, oh, this person's, special and whatever, and I would kind of stand back with my unsure eyes. It's something your grandmother and I connected on, that's for damn certain. Gloria and I both would think, is this for real, and we'd both kind of stand there with the uncertainty. But with your dad, what I felt was otherworldly. It's just the presence that would surround what he was seeing and saying. It was weighty. I'll never be able to explain it properly. But the thing that I think we're seeing here is that, mysteries unfold in God's timing. We can't really jump to conclusions. And look, here we are sitting. We're about to watch another prophecy clip from 2012, Donné, and these things are being revealed now.
Yes. So we have, now this is very interesting. This is where he's seen. Now, if you remember from the first couple of clips, you heard him talking about a forest. This is a forest. And in this clip, he's going to explain that a little bit more. So again, this is June 21st, 2012. Let's hear him talk about that.
I suddenly became aware of danger, and it seemed like there were signs of war. What frightened me was that there was a talk of a destructive weapon, and I heard this. They're looking in the wrong place. It's hidden. And so I was catapulted hundreds of feet into the air, and I was above a large forest. Now, I think some of you even heard me say that. And it was like I was hovering above this massive forest. The color seemed dusty with hints of yellow and mustard. With hints of it's like mustard or yellow. It didn't seem like a normal forest. And this country contains something extremely dangerous. I was aware of the fact that as a prophet in this age, I was in a similar position as Elisha was when he started seeing and hearing the plans of the enemy. Why not today? Why would it only be applicable thousands of years ago?
This is a huge key, Donné. What he's referencing there is speaking of Elisha the prophet, where God opened his ears to hear the plans of the enemy kings. And the kings freaked out and thought they had a mole in their midst. You know, how is it that they know what our plans are? And is it this general? Is it that one? What are they doing? But it's because God was showing Elisha, these are the plans. He was letting him in on the conversation that was going on. And your dad, right there, yes, it happened, you know, whatever it was, 13 years ago. The point is that he was hearing conversations, and I do believe, and we're going to look at just a moment, the context of this, you know, what started all of it, the kind of conflict, you know, between India and Pakistan, the conflict in Kashmir, but just what it is that he's saying, it really is, it's like he's being dropped into a future location, dropped into a future time zone to hear enemy plans that were not yet known by governments. In fact, the crazy thing about your dad here is that those are enemy plans that might not yet have even been devised by the enemy themselves, but God took him to a time in the future when those plans would be devised. And so I'm going to give this back to Donné in a minute, but I just wanted to again encourage everybody for these prophetic insights. I know that they're gripping you, but they're also equipping you. And for us to be able to continue doing what we're doing, we need your support. And so I'm asking you to sow into what we're doing today. There's so many ways that you can give. You can partner with us. You can give however it is that you're able to do it. There's details on your screen. You can scan QR codes. You can text to give. There's a red link below your player. But whatever it is, you can call your gift in. Whatever it is, I'm encouraging you to do something. Don't do nothing. Do something today. Even if it's just these moments with Kim that reignite hope in us in a time that feels dark. Allow yourself to just be hearing what it is that God is saying. And I'm also encouraging you, whether it's the $5 in your face offering, what Kim kept saying beforehand was, do not be afraid, do not fear, do not fear. He kept saying, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. Now, we wouldn't be told it's going to be okay unless we were worried that it wouldn't be, which means God saw what it is that we would all feel in these moments, and he gave us an assurance. So sow into your future, sow into the assurance that God is telling each of us, rest assured, everything is going to be okay. And so I just wanted to encourage you to do that. But Donné, I'll give it back to you now. Just what it is that your dad saw there was quite something.
No, it definitely was. And, you've been bringing up, you brought up Kashmir.
Yes.
And the conflict with India and Pakistan.
Yes.
And so can you give us a little bit of context on that?
You know, this is something that I think is really important, and I've been aware of it, but I've been looking into it a lot more. And really, this started back in 1947, 1948, and it's a contested area where India and Pakistan both claim Kashmir as their own. And so the problem now is that no longer is it, and when I say just soldiers on a front line fighting, I'm not at all taking away from the fact that lives are lost that way. But the problem now is that for the first time, really, since this conflict started, really around the same time that Israel became a nation again, we're now talking about two nations that are nuclear. That changes the playing field of the whole world. When you're talking about a conflict like this where there's a nuclear power attached, not just one, but now two, and all the alliances that kind of link around there. But, Donné, there is actually a news clip that I'd like to play now, just because I think they're able to sort of explain that. And then really what ignited this was a couple of weeks ago, there was an attack on Hindus by Muslims, and that's really what reignited all of this. But let's go to the news clip first about Pakistan and India being on the brink of war.
The outpouring of raw pain at a funeral for one of the 26 victims of the terror attack hasn't faded. The target of last week's violence, tourists visiting the disputed Kashmir region. The deadliest militant attack on civilians in 2 decades triggered a security crackdown in Indian-controlled Kashmir, with hundreds arrested. And police warnings for residents to stay away from militant groups. The violence has sent 2 nuclear powers hurtling towards the brink of war. Sworn enemies India and Pakistan both claim Kashmir in its entirety, but only control parts of it. India's government blames Pakistan for having what New Delhi calls linkages to the attack, a charge Islamabad denies. This key border crossing between the two countries is now shut, the airspace above closed. And India has suspended a crucial river waters sharing treaty that Pakistan downstream relies on. A move Pakistani officials are not taking lightly, as they warn India is preparing for military action very soon.
Any attempt to stop or divert the flow of water belonging to Pakistan, as per the Indus Water Treaty, will be considered as an act of war.
Now here we see, Donné, what was said there is that we're talking about two powers that are nuclear, and this is not a short conflict. This is a conflict that stretches back decades. But what occurred was this terrorist attack on tourists. It was a bunch of Hindu people that were attacked and targeted. And, you know, that obviously all on its own. There's something else here that we've got to play for you, which is a clip of Kashmir. And I want you to remember what Kim said about this mustard yellow kind of forest that he saw, that he was taken to. So this is really mind-blowing for me. Let's go to this clip now of the mustard fields of Kashmir.
The golden mustard fields in South Kashmir's Pampore area have become a huge attraction for the tourists visiting the Kashmir Valley. Hundreds of tourists are stopping on the national highway to visit these fields. Most of these tourists are trying to recreate scenes from iconic Bollywood blockbusters. The government of Jammu and Kashmir is working hard to add more and more tourist attractions for the visitors coming to the Kashmir Valley.
It's not only the tulip garden, but the mustard fields of Kashmir Valley are also attracting a huge number of tourists in the Kashmir Valley. The government has worked to grow more mustard this year across the Kashmir Valley so as to attract more tourists and also increase the production of mustard oil.
Hey, your dad talking about a mustard forest, this mustard, the dust even.
Yes.
Again, we're analyzing.
And you're looking in the wrong place.
You're looking in the wrong place. The weapon.
It's
to me, this is all arrows are kind of pointing towards this being what he was seeing.
Yes, no, that's absolutely. And you know, I've watched the footage that we've played for you guys. I've watched it again and again and again over the years for different reasons, looking for different things, and it always stuck with me. What he was seeing there, and I've never been able to quite place it, you know, through all the years. And so it's definitely, this is the first time I've seen something that looks like, oh my goodness, this is what my dad was seeing. And so we have another clip to play for you from June 21st, 2012, same day where Dad is explaining. And let's hear what he has to say here.
My whole body was shaking at that point. My entire body became an eye and an ear, a perception, a percept. That's what the better word. It's very difficult to explain, but the focus eventually on this whole body experience was the palm of my hand. Now, many of you saw at that moment, my hand was shaking like this, that I even grabbed my hand. It was shaking so. Only afterwards did I realize that when the angel came to Daniel, that the same specific thing happened. This is what Daniel says, and I'm going to say it to you again. And Daniel 10 verse 7, I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. What happened last Wednesday was I alone saw the vision. Everybody around me was being affected by it. They didn't know what was going on, but they were affected by it. And he says, the men who were with me did not see the vision, but a great terror fell upon them so that they fled to hide themselves. Well, at least you guys didn't do that. Therefore, I was left alone when I saw this great vision, and no strength remained in me. Jane has just walked in here with Mau Mau, who, by the way, had to check again today, and she's doing fantastically. Great. Okay. Jane will tell you something unusual has happened to me. I'm very tired. I've been tired in the morning. I'm normally up early. I'm so tired. It's like strength has been drained from me the last few days, or the last week specifically. I mean, it's just not like me to just lie there in bed, and I'm not like that. And the strength was no longer remained in me, just like Daniel said. And he says, my vigor was turned to frailty in me, and I retained no strength. And yet I heard the sound of his words. And while I heard the sound of his words, he says, I was in a deep sleep on my face, with my face to the ground. So this is what I experienced without even... That day was not planned, and so now I'm relating it. Suddenly a hand touched me, which made me tremble on my knees. Now, if I'd been standing, that day I would never be able to remain standing. You saw me. In fact, I fell down on the piano at that moment. But he says, my knees began to tremble and the palms of my hand. Now, what is a palm? Is that a palm?
Yes.
How can your palm tremble? So he's obviously speaking about something that he was feeling inside his hand. That's what happened to me that day. He says, and anyway, that's what he says. Let's talk about the palms of my hand. My hand was shaking and I had to grab it at one stage because I was aware of the fact that I was in the den and that I was in an extremely vulnerable position. I was on camera, I couldn't stop it, and I was feeling a little bit embarrassed, quite honestly, because I'm usually keep my composure. But then for a moment I was completely in the dark. I need to explain this to you. I could feel something, but I couldn't see it. Now when I say dark, I'm not talking about darkness as in sin. I was in the dark. I could not, I think God didn't want me to see it. Because I was like this, and my hand, and at one stage I even told them to stop, whatever it was. And I tried to pull away because the inside of my hand began to burn. Now this happened a few times until I cried out, no more. I couldn't handle any more of this. It seemed like something burning in my hand. Now I became aware of, here's where I want you to listen to me about, because many prophetic teachers are teaching that it's the end of the world now, and I've stood with what I believed and what I felt the Lord revealed to me, that it's not quite the end yet. It's the end of times, but the end of time. It's the end times, but the end of time. So there's still something God has planned huge, especially in the next 7 years, which I've already told you about in my previous prophecies and teachings. But I became aware of extreme heat and danger. My body was overwhelmed by it was like radiance and fire, and fear struck me for the first time. And that's when I said, it's okay, because it's almost like I was trying to tell somebody that was in this vision. But fear struck me for the first time. Was this nuclear? Was this atomic? What was this that I was feeling? Was I interceding on behalf of Israel and America? I believe I was, first of all. But at that point, there were multiple visions. And a question seemed to arise constantly. Armageddon, the slaughter of humanity, an atomic war no one wanted, but which no one had the wisdom to avoid. Now, I need to say that to you again, and I want you to listen to it, because this is what I heard. Armageddon, the slaughter of humanity, an atomic war no one wanted, but which no one had the wisdom to avoid.
And that line right there is stuck with me for years. I could actually quote to you how many times I've watched that. Was this nuclear? An atomic war that nobody wanted, but nobody had the wisdom to avoid. Now, if you look across the world right now at the things going on, when you think about nuclear weapons and who has the nuclear weapons and things like that, and you see President Trump, who Dad prophesied would be there. That is his number one concern, is he does not want there to be nuclear war. And whatever he's doing, he's trying to make deals.
Yes.
And that's where he's going to need our prayers right now, because we're starting to see the manifestation of some of these visions and these things that my dad was seeing in the visions. But not just that, clues that we're not seeing.
Yes.
For instance, the mustard-colored forest. And so if we look at this next clip that we have, also from the same day, June 21st, 2012, there's some more clues in here that actually confused me before, because I looked at this prophecy during Trump's first term. I was looking at these visions and what he saw here. And when he saw the letters A and Q, at that time, the whole Q movement was going on. And I was wondering at the time if he was seeing something about Q, because he saw the letter Q. And some people wrote to me at the time and said, I don't know if that's what it is, I'm not sure. And I, of course, wasn't sure either. I shared it as a question. But now that we're looking at it, my perspective has changed. And this is how much I've learned about prophecy over the years. Going through the code breaking and looking at these prophecies the way that we do, it truly is a lesson in how it works. And so let's have a look at that next clip. and we'll come back.
This is not that time, Armageddon. This is not that time. You can take solace, you can receive peace today. That at this very moment, this is not the time for the slaughter of humanity. Now you may be saying, well, I'm going to be raptured away and all that. That's fine. But just take this so that you can get an occupational mentality and perspective of your life. We've got things to take care of. And God's put us on this earth for a reason. And at that point, for those that have watched the vision that I had and watched me in the Spirit, I said, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. The vision of wickedness and impending danger is due to some device hidden in a place unknown to the present intelligence. That's what I have to tell you. And maybe even ignored. In other words, that's not important. This weapon is in a human mind. And the weapon that is in this human mind came to me when I saw some alphabetical letters. I saw some letters. At first I thought it was A to Z. Now this is a puzzle to me right now. But God almost said to me, focus on this so that the mystery can be unfolded. The letters were A and Q. That's all I saw. And he said, that's where it's at. Then I saw Russia, I saw Pakistan, and I saw a connection. That's all I saw there. And I remember that, but I didn't say it. That's important for you to take note of.
My goodness gracious. That is so interesting right now. And like I said, back during Trump's first term, I thought, oh, he must be seeing Q, but how was that connected to Pakistan? Yeah. And it wasn't. But now that some time has passed and we can look back at these prophecies and he sees the connection with Russia and Pakistan, mustard-colored forest, he sees the letters A and Q. These are the things we need to be looking for as a prophetic people. Now, knowing what he shared and what can God share with us as we navigate through this, because this is no small thing here. This is you're getting this prophetically, even though my dad's not here, you watching right now, and all of us here at the House of Destiny, we have this information, and this is why we feel so responsible to share this and to keep this ministry going and keep sharing these prophecies because of things like this. Because this could help somewhere. And for those of you who write in and say, what can we pray about? What are things we can pray about this week? This is something you can pray about. And of course, Christy, I know we do have, he did say, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Armageddon yet. We need to have that occupational perspective as well. We cannot be dictated by fear because
he was not hopeless,
so many people have been controlled and divided by fear.
Your dad was not hopeless, nor was he fearful. He might have had moments where he said, hey, I saw this or I felt this or whatever, but your dad was not a fearful person and he was so confident in what he saw God showing him. And that's something I hold on to, truly.
Absolutely, yes. And so what we've done, because I know we've only given you little bits of it because it's quite long, all of this. These are two different 2-hour-long broadcasts that we've pulled the most important moments out. But I know some of you are going to want to watch all of it. And we did release it on Prophetic Rewind years ago, but it'll be difficult to find. So we have put these up in our Prophecy Vault. So if you are a partner and you're one of our Prophecy Vault partners, you're so important to this ministry, we're putting that up for you. And you're going to be able to go into the vault and watch in its entirety both of these broadcasts. And I want you to do that. And if you're not a vault partner yet, become one today. It's only $7. $7 or more. If God puts it on your heart to share a little more, you can. But join our Prophecy Vault and go in there and watch these and engage in the moment and forget about time. And, this was 12 years ago. This is a prophet prophesying. So everything he was seeing was for the future. And we very strongly believe that we have come to that moment that God had warned him about. And so it's so important that we are informed not only by watching the videos, but by praying about it ourselves. Each and every one of us ask God to reveal to us what we need to know. And so we hope this has helped you this week. And as you are observing, a lot is going on around the world. We see what's happening with Israel, we see what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, and now Pakistan and India, and it's all very explosive as you see this trumpet president that my dad prophesied taking the reins and taking care of this, and what God would do with America and Israel at the same time. All of these are things that were prophesied by my dad that we've seen fulfilled, a lot of it, but some of it we haven't. And I know this is going to be very helpful to many of you watching. So I encourage you to join our Prophecy Vault and go in there and watch these in their entirety. And I know it's going to help you. And so thank you, Christy, for joining me today and helping me cover this very intense, these very intense prophecies and visions, because it is alarming. But like you said, we are not afraid. We have an occupational perspective, and that is where we're keeping ourselves unafraid. We know it's going to be okay, but it's time to pray. And so thank you for joining us, and we will be back next week with more on analysis.
What I've noticed that there has been a lot of an attack against Christmas because they said, well, Christ wasn't born in December. As a matter of fact, that date is a pagan day. And if you look up the history, December 25th is a strange day. It is. It's a very interesting day.
I was thinking of a young Christian who just believes Jesus was born on, December 25th, and then possibly hears that he wasn't, and then all of a sudden in their faith, or maybe they're doubting now.
But I also think people get really hung up on details that don't matter, and it's because some people are looking for any reason to doubt.
Watch now at real-faith.tv.
To celebrate our newest launch, Rev 7, I'm bringing you an amazing introductory offer, plus an exclusive overstock sale that you're not going to want to miss. Rev 7 is our premium energy drink that tastes great and gives you energy all day with no jitters and no crashes. That's because there's no sugar and no caffeine. I'm so sure you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time you can try our 3-pack absolutely free. Or check out our Percale bed sheets. I can't believe I'm even going to say this. Every color, every style, every size, only $29.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 20% on our Rev 7 12-packs or try our introductory 3-pack absolutely free. And our Percale bed sheets, all sizes only $29.88, even the queens and kings. Inventory is extremely limited, so order now.
We here at the House of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. It's Beverly Hills Precious Metal.
Andrew, explain how that works.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. Usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you by phone call, and then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it. You will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable.